Welcome to the Patrick Geddes Centre for Learning at Riddle's Court in Edinburgh. My name's Simon, and as we approach Remembrance Day, I thought it'd be fitting to shine a light on a fascinating but little known link between the Geddes Centre and the great English war poet Wilfred Owen. Wilfred Owen was a patient at Craiglockhart Hospital, the Edinburgh Shell Shock Hospital, during the First World War. He arrived there in the summer of 1917, severely traumatised, suffering terrible nightmares after experiencing heavy fighting in France. Owen spent 5 months at Craiglockhart Hospital in the care of a man called Dr. Arthur Brock. And here's the link. Arthur Brock was a friend and a follower of Sir Patrick Geddes, the great Scottish polymath after whom our learning centre here at Riddle's Court is of course named. In fact, the pair had been exchanging letters and ideas long before the outbreak of the war. One of Patrick Geddes' core beliefs was that we learn most effectively by using our hands and our heart as well as using our head. In other words, we learn through physical activity and by engaging with our emotions just as much as by reading books and attending lectures. Dr. Arthur Brock picked up on this idea of Geddes and ran with it. He realised that physical activity might also be used to treat mental health problems. Work cure, he called it. So instead of letting his patients drift aimlessly around Craiglockhart, as part of their treatment, Brock encouraged the troubled young men in his care to be as active as possible, to go for long walks, to swim, play golf, perform in plays, or take up carpentry or gardening or bowling or whatever might interest them. Wilfred Owen wanted to be a recognised poet, so Dr. Arthur Brock urged him to write, and it was actually in the peaceful surroundings of Craiglockhart, in a quiet suburb of Edinburgh, that Wilfred Owen wrote 2 of his most famous and brilliant war poems, Anthem for Doomed Youth, written around September 1917, and Dulce et Decorum Est, which was drafted the following month. The Latin title of that poem, of course, coming from a line from the Roman poet Horace, Dulce et Decorum Est pro patria more, meaning it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. Wilfred Owen responded well to Dr. Arthur Brock's work cure therapy, dangerously well, he joked, because in 1918 the young lieutenant was deemed well enough to return to the Western Front. He won the Military Cross for his courage and leadership in October of that year, but he was killed during one of the very last assaults on the German lines on the 4th of November 1918, just 1 week before the end of the war. He was 25 years old. Unbelievably, the news reached his parents, Tom and Susan, on the 11th of November 1918, the very day the war ended. So, to mark Remembrance Day, here is Dulce et Decorum Est, surely one of the greatest war poems ever written. Bent double like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on, bloodshot. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of disappointed shells that dropped behind. Gas, gas, quick boys, an ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out and stumbling and floundering like a man in fire or line. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams, you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face, like a devil sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile incurable sores on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory, the old lie. Dulce et Decorum Est, pro patria more.